All right, peace and blessings to the chosen. Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim pushing his truth for sincerity and charity on the brother Yalad. And the main subject right now that I really want to just get off my chest is probably the spirit really pushing me to say this. A person can't think straight when they starving. They can't. They're like, it's starving puts you in a state of animalistic nature because you're in the flesh. So let's see. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm looking at these definitions, but I want to say that Yahweh Shai had compassion on the multitude that followed him to feed them. And this is one of the precepts I want to use to just build up what I'm saying here. Mark 8:2. I have compassion on the multitude because they have now been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. This is the red letters, right? And it says, and if I send them away fasting to their houses, they will faint by the way, for diverse of them came from far. So he said that they would faint. Right? Yahweh Shai looked at the multitude and he said that they've been with us for a long time, don't want to send them away fasting, they could faint. Because we're in the flesh. The flesh requires nourishment. It requires needs. It has things that it needs to sustain itself. So I'm looking at the starve and the etymology. But yeah, it goes into hunger, but it also says to perish, to die, to cease to exist, to die spiritually. And that's also going into a point that I want to bring up in this video, is that you have spiritual needs too. And in this world, the people are spiritually starving. There's, especially in this wicked Western world, people are starving for justice. They're seeing injustice and iniquity over and over, right? And that's why I want to bring in the Matthew. It says, Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And what is that iniquity abound? I got to get in the blue letter. Bear with me a moment. It says in G41:29, to increase, to multiply. So iniquity, the pattern of evil and sin and transgression on top of each other multiplied, the love of many wax cold. So the people are spiritually starving for justice, right? They're spiritually starving and they're deprived, okay? And this is the animalistic state that happens to a person when they can't think straight because they're deprived. When you're in a burning house, you don't know right and wrong. You know fire. And an average carnal person is not thinking about right and wrong. They're thinking about fire. That's it. When you're hungry and your belly is aching, they're not thinking about right. They're thinking about food. So, it's even to the point I'll include the Proverbs 6:30. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. So there goes that compassion again, because a person being deprived or malnourished in a strong need of a thing, it is a compassion for it, because the act itself is wrong, but the state of it is understandable. There's a compassion to it. That same compassion is vanishing, as I read in the love of many. It's vanishing because of all the evil and the pride of this place, right? Revelation 12:10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Yahweh, our power, day and night. And what did the accuser of our brethren do? He put guns and drugs and liquor all throughout your neighborhoods and removed job opportunities to encourage you to make illegal methods of making money. And then he pans the camera on you and says you're thugs, you're T-words. He pans the camera on you and says that you're savages, you're animals. But what does he do? He puts you in animalistic conditions. He puts you in a cage and doesn't feed you for days. And when you finally come out, you I heard about the torture that he did to in not the ancient world, but in not the Hellenizing, but the when they were forcing Morenos. When you go into the definition of a Moreno, it says a Moor, an Israelite, essentially, who pretended to be converted to Christianity, but continued secretly and privily to worship what they were worshiping prior. So what some of these devils would do is they would starve you for days, and they say, prove that you are a Christian by eating this pork. That's the state that this devil will put you into. And then he always puts the camera on the part that he wants to show the world, because he's a liar. He wants to put the camera on what you do in retaliation after he's antagonized you over and over. That's what this devil does. But I said what I said about people not being able to think straight when they're starving, because it's the mentality of the world that we're heading into. We're already in it. To correct myself, we're already in it. Yeah, there are people that can't get jobs. The jobs are not hiring like they used to. So what do people do? They're gonna rob each other. They're gonna is gonna be no pity on a neighbor, and I get that. Bear with me. 2 Ezra 15:9, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the what? The lack of bread, and for great tribulation. And that great tribulation is also a famine of peace, a depravity of peace. You can't have a peace of mind in great tribulation when you fear and for your life. You can't have a peace of you're starved from a mental fortitude. You're starved. You're emotionally starved. You are malnourished and deplicit. Not deplicit, but it starts with a D. But you have a deficit. I believe it's called deficit of your needs. So these people are going to if they'll do it in the green tree, how much more in the dry? When 911 ain't answering phone calls and all the lights are off, the grid is down, and the cameras are shut, you will see the animalistic nature of the flesh. It says they gonna spoil their own neighbors, not having no pity for a lack of bread. These people are gonna be so without that they own favorite person that's next to him might start looking like a piece of bread to him. I'm talking about cannibalism. I'm talking about they ain't eat or drink in days, and they friend is looking like a piece of meat, looking like a beef jerky. But why is all of this happening? Reading up, 2nd Ezra 15 and 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Pride is one of the biggest things the Lord hates. And the pride of this country, the US, to be that city without walls, because they had pride. They felt that nobody was going to invade them. Who could make war with the beast? They had pride. Pride. Confidence in a plain way. This is why one of the main reasons, if not one of the big reasons, because this is multiple reasons this stuff got to happen. The Lord gonna make right about his promise. That's for sure. He promised this destruction and whatnot was gonna come, and all the blood that's been shed need to be cleansed by the blood of him that killeth. There's reasons that these things have to happen, but this pride is one of the reasons. All the idolatry here, when these people they gonna have to eat their words. They gonna have to pray to their idols to figure this out, and their idols not gonna answer them. Their prayers gonna fall on deaf ears. It says after death by pain. Second Ezra 9 and 10. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not but despised it, the same must know after death by pain. And maybe I can find a way to show that there's going to be certain deaths that are going to be awful. But this is one of the worst ones. Lamentations 4 and 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through the want of fruits of the field. So I want to get that word for us. Pine away, because it goes into starving to death. You know, you're eating yourself. I think that's another scripture that talks about how some people just going to have to start eating themselves. But to pine away is to... Nah. No. What the blue letter is showing me is not what I wanted. Well, here it says to waste away. But for these pine away, they pine away. So they thin out. They thin out and the belly growl, and you eventually in a state where you gotta eat yourself. You gotta take a bite out of your own arm. And once a person go through that, like it's already traumatic enough. The mind state and the mentality of that. So yeah, I might have went on a tangent here to go in on the fact that there's a lot of gruesome death and starvation to come, but the people already weren't in their right mind before the starvation. So how much more? How much more? People were already doing crazy stuff before calamity and the destruction came. So how much more? And Lord willing, that was edifying. I'm gonna sign off with that one and say call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Shalom. Kwam Yasharala. Wow.